Hey, friends. By the way, the reason I use the word friends is because in Hebrew, the word is chaver, which is from the same root as the word connected. So we're all connected, but it also is the word that's closest to conveying a sense of sameness and equality. Because if we're the same one, how could there be inequality? And this is actually, I'm not talking about the social political world. I'm talking about who we really are. If we're the same one, hierarchy is a joke. And that's Meister Eckhart in one of his beautiful sermons. He talks about how the fly and the angel are really, they're the same. It's all the Godhead in Meister Eckhart's words, terms, being everything. It's no thing being everything. It's that simple. But so when we're talking about non-duality in therapy, are they related? Is there any relation? Or are they completely unrelated? So first, let me say that there are types of therapy that I find unhelpful. They're the kind of therapy that you find yourself 20 years later going like, all this money, all this time and energy, and very little has changed. And the reason those therapies don't really work is because they are affirming that you are a broken self to begin with. That's the premise. There is a problem with you, and now we're going to heal it. But see, the attempt to heal the brokenness really confirms that it's there. It's like I say, when you're also seeking is confirmation of prison. You keep confirming that you're in prison by seeking a way out, you see. So we have to check what's the motivation here? What's the basic assumption out of which I'm operating? And if you go to therapy and you realize that the basic assumption is that you're broken, I'm not sure that therapy is going to be very helpful. On the other hand, there are more types of therapies that help you to realize, to come all the way back to that initial trauma, if you will, where you learned that you're broken, that you're not enough, that you're inadequate, that you're a loser, that there's a deficiency, where that story was bought into and taken to be real, made real. You as the power that is, you are power, and you give your power to these ideas, you see, to these stories, and that makes them very real. And then you believe yourself to be an idea, namely a self that is broken, incomplete, lacking, inadequate, and is seeking its own completion, its wholeness. It feels not okay, and it seeks a state of okayness. And as long as it believes in that not okayness, it also projects it outwards onto life. Life is not okay. God is not okay. There's lack everywhere. And it really seeps into all kinds of areas of life where you project that on. You could project that onto your partner. You could project that onto your bank account. So the point is that there are therapies that help you come to see the story as a story, to recognize an idea as an idea, to recognize a belief as just a belief that you have given your power to and made it real for yourself, and then you live in that as though it's reality, right? That's why your beliefs, your mind, that is your world. Do you see what I mean? So as you shift the beliefs and your ideas and all of that kind of stuff, your world changes. But a lot of times, you'll see that in full awakening. You could say you see that that every belief is burdensome. You don't actually need beliefs. And so the types of therapy that help you recognize the story as a story, and I don't mean just here, but leading you sort of through a process to in your body get to a point where when that story arises, there's no reaction in the body. So see, because when we're operating from the me story, one thing the me can't help but do is compare. So when it hears another person sharing their story or their success or this or that or the other, there's this meaning-making thing that the me does, and it's always, what does this mean about me? It's always about me. That's for the me. It's always about me. And so it compares itself, and then it uses that to confirm its own inadequacy, its own not okayness. Oh, look at that person. I need to be more like that. When I will be more like that, then I will finally be okay, right? And it could be everything. It could be in material stuff, you know, when I get this and that and the other. It could be in spiritual stuff, when I learn how to abide in this or that state more, when I have positive reactions like that person has, when. And all it is really, it's your mind placing conditions on self-love. And self-love is we think it's like a personal thing, but in a way, really, at least seen from awakening, self-love is capital S, self-love, that the self realizes that whatever way it appears is fine. Whoever said that this should be different than it is? And however it appears includes you as the character appearing however you're appearing, showing up however you're showing up. But at some point, somewhere, early on, we all have had a trauma or a series of traumas that taught us that basically, no, it's not okay. The way you're showing up is not okay. And we felt, unloved or not enough, basically. And so we thought, what do I need to do to be enough and to be loved and all of that? And then we're seeking this love outside of us, or we're seeking to prove ourselves to, a lot of overachievers are overachieving because what's running the program is this tremendous sense of not enough. I'm not enough as I am. And it's never enough, though. You could win 6 championships with the Chicago Bulls and feel like that's still not enough, like you need a 7th, as though the 7th is what's going to make it all okay. It's you have to question the premise. The premise of I'm not enough. Is it a true story? No stories are true, I'll already tell you that. But you can't get it like just... You can't, okay, intellectually it's great. It's maybe a start, but it has to become a visceral thing where when somebody's sharing their story, what eventually starts happening is the meaning making goes away. So this interpretation where it's all self-referenced, it's all about me. What does their story say about me? What does his thing say about me? What does her thing say about me? It's just not about me. Because I, as Daniel, nobody can be Daniel. Only Daniel is Daniel. But it's only Jenna is Jenna and only Sam is Sam, okay? Nobody can be you but you is what I'm trying to say. It's not your job to be like them. It's just not. It's like one snowflake thinking, gosh, look at how gorgeous that other snowflake is. Why am I not more like that? And it's kind of silly. I mean, so you don't need to change anything about yourself. You don't need to improve yourself or anything like that out of a place of lack. If it's an inspired change where it feels like I want to change it, not because I'm wrong or not out of like this is bad and I'm not complete like this, and when I will change that, then I'll become complete. Not that, but an inspired change. You see what I mean? Like it just feels like, yeah, I don't need that anymore, or it doesn't serve me anymore. So you let it go. And again, even the empowerment stuff, I used to teach only empowerment once, but it all connects because the power is you. It's not something that you have, it's something that you are. You are power, and you just give your power away to all kinds of ideas and beliefs until you have had enough and you decide to take it back. You see? But the you that I'm talking about, again, is not the separate you, right? The separate you is just an appearance within the real you. You play as that character, and that character is freaking gorgeous. It's freaking beautiful however it's showing up. So all the conditions about this character as it's showing up is not enough. It needs to never get angry. It needs to this. It needs to... All these hand-me-downs, all these things that were taught to us, right? So I could go into like so much detail about how this story starts. Like I said, there's a trauma or a series of trauma early on in childhood, and it kind of goes on unchecked. And we start pushing ourselves to be more and to be better and better and more and more and better and better and more. And it's never enough. All right. Even if you get everything you want in life, you just realize, why am I still not satisfied? Yeah, because it's an unchecked story that's running the program. Yeah. So it's possible through therapies to become aware of that program. And I don't mean just here, again, in a way where, again, certain things arise that used to trigger that story, and you would use them as confirmation of that story, that you're not okay already, as you are already, then suddenly it doesn't arise. So you can hear everything and it doesn't threaten you. And it's felt viscerally in the body and the nervous system. There's no threat. So you're not getting into fight or flight or super alert or, on guard and defensive where you can't hear anything that's being told to you because you're on the defense. So those types of therapies, I would say, are connected to non-duality. Now, do they cause awakening? So to answer that question, I refer to an old Zen saying, which is apparently attributed to some Zen master, which is awakening isn't caused, it's spontaneous. It's an accident, yet you can make yourself accident prone. See what I mean? So I'm not saying a therapy will or will not lead to it, right? But it does seem like there are certain therapies that will make you more accident prone. So if they're working in a way that the self that is seeking to complete itself isn't actually really real, right? Because you can spend your whole life trying to fix a self that's broken that doesn't actually exist, though. It's a belief that I'm a broken self that I need to fix, that everything that's appearing is wrong, right? And then you kind of dig yourself into that more and more and more by trying to heal it. That's the irony of it, you see. Yeah. So therapies that don't strengthen that, but that actually make the story conscious, bring it from the unconscious to the conscious so that you can see it, and then you see, what the hell am I doing? Trying to fix a self that doesn't exist is kind of weird. Doesn't make any sense. So when it doesn't make any sense, it drops, because you don't keep doing something once you realize it doesn't make sense, or that it's completely counterintuitive to the goal you're actually trying to achieve, which is sort of really to validate yourself. It's because the self with a capital S is unconditional love, so it doesn't judge any way in which it appears. It loves itself so unconditionally, and that's your nature. But somehow you bought into the idea that you've separated from your nature, and you've become this self that is inadequate, and it's looking for completeness again. And so once that's just seen as just a story, right? And there could be many stories that are seen on the way to seeing that kind of foundational stories, you see. But so anyways, the point is there are certain processes that can help with that, and then it makes you more accident prone, right? Yeah. And if it doesn't lead to awakening, then so what? You still feel better. You feel more empowered. You feel happier in life. And I would say you're kinder to yourself, because you realize that when these uncomfortable things are arising, or when sadness are arising, or something negative, so what? So what? So you just give yourself what you need. So you just be with it. But you don't go into the whole story of, this kind of thing is still arising for me, I must not be there. The whole game of seeking is basically, am I there yet? Am I there yet? Without questioning what the hell is there and who. Who is the one who needs to get where? So anyways, the most important point is that non-duality shouldn't be used as bypassing. It's not like, let's say you have a desire to go create something, but there's a fear of, maybe expressing it publicly, right? So you'd rather stay small. And then you say, well, you use non-duality in some kind of way. Well, desires are false anyway. We're supposed to be in a non-desire state, or there's no self to desire anything anyway. So this must just be my ego wanting something. Like, you use that to not let your natural flow. If your natural flow is to express in a certain way, then see, all these beliefs and ideas get in the way. And then non-duality, spirituality, they're used in a self-limiting way rather than freedom, rather than just letting it come, letting it through, you know? Yeah. And when the stories are gone, it's not even a letting. It's just, there's nothing that's blocking. It's not that you have to let, like it's a doing. You see what I mean? It's just nothing blocking the flow of energy. And it could also be with negative stuff like anger flowing, and then you're angry and then it's over, like a little kid. You had your tantrum. The Hulk came out for a moment, and then the next thing comes. You see? And so there's no longer this like constant checking. Am I being the right way? Am I being the right way? Wait, am I saying the right thing? 1 second. Am I saying the right thing? Wait. Think about what there isn't all that. Right? So, but you can't fake that, is what I'm saying. You can't fake that. It's when there is this sinking into this unconditional love of the self with a capital S. That's just the self loves itself. It lets itself be itself in whatever way it's being, right? And that doesn't mean that sometimes a desire to change the way that the character is showing up doesn't arise. It can arise, but it doesn't come out of that's wrong, it shouldn't be there. It's just like enough. We've had enough of that. That's not working for us anymore. So let's give that up, right? Let's take the power we've given this habit, this idea, this belief, whatever it is. Let's take it back. Because this idea, belief, habit doesn't have any power at all. It's completely neutral. You see, we gave it all the meaning that it has, all the power that it has, right? So we can take it back. But you don't, sometimes you might not want to, and that's fine. There is no right or wrong. There is no better. And that's the most important thing, one of the most important things with this not enough story, that it's not your personal story even. It's literally humanity's story, because it's a conditioning that passes to us. It's like states of consciousness are infectious. And when you're a kid, you're especially absorbing the states of consciousness around you and everything, and the feelings and the emotions, and you absorb things beyond the words, right? And it's an energetic absorption almost, but it's also beliefs are just being kind of handed to you, and you don't know yet as a kid that it's an option to not buy into them. That one I will not invest in. Don't want to invest in that one. That doesn't look very, very healthy. You don't know that yet as a kid. You're so innocent. It's so beautiful, really. So you buy it, and then your kids get infected by it. But you could also get infected by other things. If you're like people reporting that, hanging out with Ramana, there was a different feeling, right? Or just sometimes you're just with a person and you just feel safe and you feel happier just in their presence, right? So there's all kinds of, everybody is transmitting their state of consciousness, but really there isn't anyone in here transmitting a state of consciousness. It's just the one playing through a character, looking through these eyes, hearing through these ears, speaking through this mouth. So it's all a hollow bamboo, and when that's kind of understood, for lack of a better word, then also whatever arises, any emotions, anything, any thoughts even, they're just allowed to be, because they don't mean anything in a way. But for the me, it's always a self-referential meaning making. What does this mean about me? What does this say about me if this kind of thought arises? If this kind of depression arose today, so what does that mean about me? Or this person is saying this and saying that, so again, how does that reflect on me? What does it mean about me? It's always comparing, it's always measuring where it's at. But I have no idea anymore how do you measure? Like, what's the, you know what I mean? Like, in reference to what? What's the reference point? There's just some weird idea of how I'm supposed to be, and then I measure myself according to that. But when there's no longer how I'm supposed to be, I just am. I am what I am. That's why that's my favorite Bible quote. In Hebrew. I am that I am. It's not, some people try to make it I am that I am, or something like that. But it's okay, the I am thing, got you. But it's I am whatever I am. Does that make sense? However I appear, that I am. But it's always I am, appearing in different forms. That's the formless essence appearing as all these different forms. And who's to judge the way it appears? Who knows what it should be or shouldn't be? You see, so when you stop that judging, even if judgment arises, that's fine. Just no need to judge the judgment. You know what I'm saying? So when that condition thing starts to fade away, and it has to be seen that you're always giving yourself conditions, and this is driving you insane. It's hell. Yeah? And so what I'm saying is there's therapies that can help you see these things and then release them. And it does make sense that as these things are released, the formless essence sort of shines through more. It becomes more obvious that you really are not a separate self, that you're all of this. You're nothing being everything, right? And you're perfect as you are. And this is just you talking to yourself. Hi. Telling yourself, dude, you're fine. You've always fucking been fine. You're totally fucking fine, right? You just think that you need to be different than you are. And that was handed down to you very early on, and you've been living in that story and pushing yourself from that story. And it's like you know, you can have this gentle voice here telling you like, hey man, there's no need to push. There's no need to push. See that. What is that? What is that that's pushing all the time? What the hell is that? Where did it come from? Is it really yours? Or did you buy into it? Right? Because beliefs are in a sense, they're just like floating around. Ideas are just floating around. Right? You know? And you don't have to pick them up. Anyways, I hope that makes some sense. You are the power. So whatever you give your power to, you make it real for you. But you don't have to make anything real. And it's not about, I'm not saying this as like, you know, sometimes the ego will hear this or the me will hear this and say, ooh, it'll think, okay, so now that I get that point, that I can give power only to the things that I really want, then I'm going to create the life that I want. But that's still trying to escape what is right now. Like, can this be enough? Can you, as you are right now, with whatever you're feeling, whatever you're feeling, whatever is here now, can this be okay? Just okay. Like maybe it doesn't need to be fixed or gotten rid of, you know? Like the leaf doesn't resist the wind because it's blowing from the wrong direction. Oh, winds shouldn't be flowing from that direction, and I don't like to be blown in this direction. No, it's just like, oh, it doesn't have any resistance to the wind. And the wind is the one. The one is blowing us in all kinds of different directions. But we are that one. It's not like it's happening to a separate person. It's just a play. Let it play. And that's another thing is one of the things that I find most therapeutic is, and I use this a lot in my personal sessions, is humor. For God's sakes, we're all so freaking serious. What the hell? It's just a play. And it's like Bill Hicks when he used that famous stand-up where he said, it's just a ride. And all people reminding us it's just a ride. And what do? We kill them because we have a lot invested in this ride. Right? So yeah. So there's ways that you can use humor to kind of like, instead of judging yourself for being a certain way or for falling into the story, you can use humor to kind of take you back out and see the story for what it is, just a story. And you laugh at it. You laugh at the story and how you were taking that really seriously. And it's funny because you're who you really are is free from all stories. It appears as all stories, but it's free from them. It's not really stuck in any of them. There's no one in a story. So the story of I am broken, there's no one in that story. You know that stories involve fictional characters, right? That's why they're just stories. Oh man, it's crazy. It's crazy. You tell yourself a story about yourself and then you live it. It's like the wildest virtual reality that there can be. You know? You tell yourself a story, I am this kind of person, I'm a loser, I'm this, I'm not. And then you live from that premise, from that perspective. As though that's who you really are. But nothing captures you, nothing holds you, no story can pin you down, nothing can define you, nothing can make you anything in particular. What you are is no thing. What that means is you're no thing in particular. You're not this or that or that or that. Only the state of joy, only the state of this. It's like me is trying to hold on to one thing. You're not just one thing. You're nothing, which is why you can appear as everything. But don't buy into those things that that make you feel like a me in time looking for yourself. You are already yourself, right? But again, if this is kind of going over your head, what I just said, that's where therapy comes in. That's where therapy can help you start to see these stories and viscerally release it from the body, release it from the nervous system, let go of the feeling of being threatened, right? But because you compare yourself to others, or you really believe that you're not enough, you're not doing well as you are, or whatever, and then I often find that then people can begin to hear this message a bit more clearly. Yeah. So, to sum it up, therapies that confirm that you're a broken self and try to fix you are just fueling that story. And it goes, you're just like moving in a loop. You're not moving. Not much is happening there in terms of healing, because healing is not healing anything broken, because nothing's broken. Healing is seeing the stories about you being broken, right? And then you get your power back. And when you get your power back, sometimes miraculous healings can occur. I'm not saying that that's the goal of it. It's more of like a side effect of it. But these healings can occur because you're releasing the past, honestly. Like that's what's happening is, you're releasing the story about yourself, and you no longer have to fit in that. And you're no longer giving all your energy to that. And so it kind of returns to you and heals you. Does that make some sense? Not just because you have more energy, that's part of it, but because you're no longer so committed to being a victim or broken or a loser. You just see it for what it is. And it tends to make you want to laugh at it, because you're so unbounded in who you really are, that to believe that you were that is like, wow. It just blows your mind. Like it's wow. How did I make myself into an idea and make that idea like a real experience for myself? You see? Yeah. So, yeah. In that sense, when you heal the mind, you do heal the body, because the mind was committed to sickness in a way, to brokenness. Does that make some sense? I hope it does. Anyways, I could go on and on and on, but we're reaching a half an hour. But if you do want to go on about this and want to go through some sort of process of healing that, I was inspired today by someone I used to work with to kind of go back to doing that. I used to do that more, to work in a process kind of way, to include more therapy in the non-duality sessions. Some people just want to chat non-duality, which is fucking fantastic. I love it. So those kinds of, those sessions I always do. But then the more processing stuff, seeing through stuff, seeing where that freaking darn story arose that caused you to seek in the first place, caused you to seek for completeness, like you were lacking it, and see how that runs, see how that program ran your life. It's fascinating. It's fascinating to watch it. I mean, So anyways, that kind of thing I do as well. So you're welcome, but go to whoever resonates for you. And that's the thing, is that there's all these different speakers, right? And some will say treating it as a process is just fueling more of the seeking, and some will say, but we need more of a process. We can't just hear the truth and get it, Like Jesus used to say, those with ears to hear, let them hear, right? But maybe we can make our ears a bit more hearing prone, okay? You see what I mean? So, and I think we can. Maybe not in all cases, but in lots of them. So why not give it a shot? Because as I said, the only thing that could happen is you'll just feel better. If it won't lead to, full-blown awakening, you'll feel better. So why the hell not? You'll get your power back. And I think that eventually, in a integrated type of awakening, different modes of spirituality kind of all really integrate into one. It's just like in the process of them integrating into one, I'm talking even like manifesting, empowerment, things that allegedly have zero to do with non-duality, at least in a lot of people's way of thinking about it. They kind of integrate all into one thing or no thing, but without the rubbish, without the it's like just the actual essence of them. Because in a way, it all does make sense when you see that they're referring not to a separate self, but to who you really are. Who you really are is empowered, has all power, gives its power away to other things, can take it back, right? And this is also tied in with the process of manifesting, right? When a desire arises in you and it's aligned, it's not coming from lack. There's a different power to it. It's not coming from a beggar stance of when this desire happens, I'll finally, or trying to manifest things just to prove to yourself that you're okay. Look, I can do this manifesting thing, so I must be I must be great or spiritually advanced or whatever. All these attempts to prove shit to ourselves, like, for what? For what? And it's not only materialistic. You know that it's also in spiritual stuff. If I cannot abide in a state of pure awareness for all day long, then I haven't made it. That's all these tough things that like mean pushing. It's like it's just the same. It's your dad when you were little pushing you, or some masculine figure. It could have been a woman, but in a masculine energy, pushing, and trying, and it makes you try and try and try. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. So a desire can arise in you after awakening. You could say that's not out of lack. I suppose that could also happen before awakening, but and then it leads you to manifest something, and it works amazing because there's no guilt and shame and lack in it. So even manifesting flows better, right? So this is not a video about that. I'm just saying that all of the things kind of make sense when you really, really see who you really, 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 really are. Yeah. Which is really not hard. In fact, it's obvious, but all these stories, as long as they're given power to and believed in, bought into, they act like a veil. So you can't see that they're not you, they're existing within you. You're actually free from them. You're not actually bound by them. You're just buying into them and then feeling that you are this character who's got this problem, and then and it's like all it is like snap out of it, and right, but it's not me telling you snap out of it. Maybe for some of you that would work, which is fucking cool, but for most people, again, needs more of a process. Let's look at things, let's inquire into things, let's go back a little bit, let's see how the program played out, right? So okay, enough droning on about this. I love you because you're my friends. Even if not everybody resonates for everybody, right? That's why I say take what resonates and leave the rest. And some people ask me, well, why do you have empowerment videos on? What do they have to do with non-duality? Well, maybe they're good for somebody. Maybe somebody watches and goes like, oh, I know how to navigate the situation in my life now. Fucking awesome. Why does it all have to be about awakening? It's not like I have a goal, wake everybody up. No, it's like, I like to help, right? And if those more relative teachings help, then fucking why not? Let it be. It's like people have a problem when you have more than one message, because I suppose it confuses them. Like, but if you're talking about non-duality, then talk about non-duality. Don't talk about the other stuff. But I'm telling you that in the end, it all becomes one thing. And who knows, maybe that particular teaching of that video that I made 2 years ago makes some difference in somebody's life, and maybe it ends up being a part of what leads them to awakening. I have no fucking clue. How am I supposed to know what I say hits everyone? It's only in personal sessions that you can be specific to someone. When you're making a video or when you're doing group classes or whatever, everybody has to have their own responsibility to take what's right for them, what's calling them, and leave the rest. Because, there's no way that a speaker can know how every word he says is going to hit 1 million different people. Okay, so see you next time.